Hello, I thought I would do this little video to show you guys a little sneak peek at how I make stylized 3D characters in Blender. Um, just a little quick thing. Just wanted to make a little tutorial. I'm not doing anything revolutionary. I'm just kind of doing some stuff that I stole from other people and making it work pretty okay. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So we're going to start with a reference. And so I've picked out this reference of Curtis Waters. I think he looks pretty cute here. I was thinking we can model kind of above his shoulders, mainly this area, not so much this area. I don't feel like modeling his nipples. So we're going to be referencing this basically for our art. And I guess I'm just gonna kind of roughly like it's gonna be really stylized. I'm not gonna like bring the image in and try to like make my mesh look like it. I'm just gonna probably start with a UV sphere, and we can kind of. I mean, 32 is pretty good. Honestly, yeah, we'll keep it at 32 subdivisions, and I want it to be a little more ovular. Not sure what a good word to use for that would be. Um, So we're just going to go ahead and select the bottom half of this and make it a little more like a pill, kind of. And this is going to be Curtis's face, right? And we can go ahead and bring the rest of these vertices up a bit. And the thing that I think I want to do first is probably make these ears on the bunny hood thing. And I think the way that I was thinking I would do that, I just make another sphere, and then from here I think we're going to edit it. Just make it really big like this, scale it on the z-axis, and then scale it on the y-axis to make it kind of skinny. Kind of skinny, like maybe a little more skinny that way. Then make kind of tiny. Cute little bunny ears. And then from the bottom, we can kind of turn on our area scaling. Make these a little bit bigger. Make them a little bigger at the bottom. Kind of the way it would be knit if this was like a real hat. So we got something kind of like that. And I think from here, I want to bring it back a bit. And then I'll just turn on a mirror modifier. Forget where. So now we have these little bunny ears. And we're going to go ahead and apply that. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these bunny ears, probably right about here, and extrude it up a bit. Make a few of those. And then I want to fold it around a bit. Make it kind of look like it's folding the way bunny ears do. I need to turn off that pesky bending that these like to do. That. Go ahead and kind of. Not sure exactly how I want to have it. Maybe a little more like that. I think actually I'm gonna go ahead and separate these meshes. It's okay to have them there, but what we'll do is we'll separate these by selection. And then I'm gonna take this 3D cursor, I think. Let's hide the main sphere. Let's take our 3D cursor with this, set origin to 3D cursor. So now when we rotate it, I'm gonna move on that. And then we'll bring this one over here, switch our select tool, set origin. So now those are set up about right. This one I'll kind of okay. Then I think I just want to bend this one a bit that way. Something simple like that. And from here, I want to kind of carve out this circle that is the opening of this mask thing that Curtis is. I think the way I'll do that, if I go into the edit tool, we can go ahead and turn off this transparency thing. So we see just the vertices that we're looking at. Probably help if I have screencast key. Might as well turn that on real quick. Oh, this might not work. Oh, I updated Blender, now my screencast keys don't work. Oh, well, sorry gang. Can't be having you know what keys I'm clicking. That's confidential information. But anyways, I think actually what I want to do, I think I just want to duplicate this. Scale it down a bit. Bring it down. Then bring it forward. What if we did that? This isn't going to be Curtis's face, but it is going to be what we're going to use. We're going to make a Boolean modifier on. Set it to difference and then pick our other sphere here. And then we can apply that and delete this. And we kind of have a funky effect. That's not exactly what I wanted actually. Let's bring it back maybe. Kind of has a cool effect. That kind of looks like a little guy wearing a head. This isn't what I was planning to do. What I was planning to do is to like delete all the faces inside of it and then give it a solidify modifier and it would look kind of funky that way. But this is fine. I think this works perfect for our purposes. So yeah, we basically have the mesh now. That's like the mesh that I wanted. I might do some sculpting stuff on it later to make it look a little more cloth-like, but this is fine. And now I guess what I want to do is some material setup. I'm going to go ahead and split this window and then go to our shader editor here, and we can switch to shader view and start adding some materials. Let's make a new one. I'm going to use emission shaders for pretty much everything. And he kind of has a yellowish hue, and it's like kind of a bright orange, really saturated. Something like that. And then we'll make another new material here. Shader, emission, whoop, and yeah, basically it's going to be white, but it's a little off-white, right? It's a little bit yellow. Then we can go ahead and give that material to these guys. So now we have a mesh with color on it, but there are other things kind of going on here. And actually, I realized I want a little more forehead space on this actually. So I might want to see if I can't edit this from here. This is me getting a little more nitpicky than I need to be, but it'll be easier for later when we have to like draw stuff on here. Last material thing that we're gonna need probably. Let's go to the material tab actually, and I'm gonna add another new material here. Pick a shit here, and we want a red, really dark red. We'll go ahead and do this so that it's a little more adjacent to it. And I'm gonna basically pick out so many of these vertices to turn into that red color. I think the way that I want to do that is to just pick a face, set it to face select mode. You know, honestly, I should probably just select all of these faces, like all the visible ones from here. Then it keeps that side white, this side red. It's all good because that's how it looks in the reference picture. Like if I bring it down, you can see it's pretty much the whole face of the ear like that. So we'll just do that. I'm gonna grab this one. And it's pretty much front facing, so we can just select that. Grab that other material, assign it. Got a nice red thing to the ear. And now we get to do the really fun part of doing some stylized color things. But I think before I do that, I'm going to join these. Just join them as one object. Then we're going to go add a solidify modifier. Go ahead and add an emission material that is going to be totally black. The black outline that we're going to add. And the way I want to do that is flipping the normals, go to the material, enable backface culling. It should become pretty apparent if it's doing what we want it to. Yeah, use offset the material till we get that black outline. Then we can just scale till it's roughly a size that we like. And so now we have this cool little black outline on it. There's a couple spots where it'd be better. Like right here, I wish there was a black outline around the face of the character. But you know, can't have everything you want. Anyways, now that we have that done, we can hit Shift A and add a grease pencil object. Blank one. And I have, by default, it'll have one layer and like a stroke material. And if you go to draw mode, you can kind of set things up how you want. I want to not be using pressure sensitivity on everything and pretty much max out what I want. And we can go ahead and join these areas. We don't need shader editor. Right here. Is that. So when I go to draw mode, I can hit or set it to where the stroke placement is going to be looking for the surface of an object. And I want to set this really, really low. Not exactly 0. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if it's 0. We'll just set it to 0 for now. And from here, you'll see when I start drawing, okay, there's no frame. That's frustrating. I need to change this to the grease. Oh. Where is it? Grease pencil. Right. Frame 0. What a shame that I was on the wrong. But now you'll see when we draw, it shows up on the surface of this object. And actually, because we already have that stroke modifier on it, it's giving a constant displacement of our strokes where they're not clipping into the mesh. They're sitting a little bit away from it. Like if you zoom in a lot, you'll see that stroke is beveling out like that, which is great because we don't want the stroke like sitting super far away. We just wanted a constant kind of distance. So now we can start doodling on this guy. So we have a funny little face. Funny little face for this. And now we're going to want to add a couple other materials. I want a red. Well, first I want a white fill. And I want kind of a red. We'll just color pick. And go to layer under these. So what's happening is our layer is using lights, which don't. So turn that off. Now it shows up without that weird discoloration. Oh, here. Honestly, from here I might be able to just use a bucket. Nope. Can't use a bucket tool on a. Not that smart. Gotta draw it. I can actually sculpt that kind of over. Nice. Now let's get red color. Lead. Bloody lip. And I'm liking the way that looks. I think that looks pretty good. Gonna go ahead and go around and add a couple other strokes. Just kind of sprinkle them around to make it look a little more stylized, a little more drawn. Oh, it's looking at really weird surfaces, right? Just some little lines to give it some grit. Funky little kind of texture. And now we're gonna get another stroke material, pick that red color. We're gonna draw that kind of star. I think that looks pretty good for my first try. I actually like it a lot. Now we basically have the cool, fun little stylized character. There is one problem though. If you wanted to do like a 3D turnaround, something like this, like let's set the camera there. If I render this image right now, you're gonna see his face is now on the back of his head. He looks like some creepy smiling friends character. and obviously we don't want that. So what do you do? What do you do to fix that when your camera's right? Well, if you watch a Sophie Jantak video, she's going to tell you to add a material, and like a mesh. Take your mesh and turn it into like a holdout material, and that's supposed to like block the strokes from showing up behind it. But when I do that, I run into issues. It wasn't working the other night when I was trying to do something like this. So a different thing that I found that wasn't too cumbersome for me to do is that I duplicated this mesh, right? So we have the same mesh. It's sphere 1 now. It doesn't really matter which one. We're gonna go ahead and hide the other one. So we have this mesh, and I'm gonna turn that stroke modifier or the solidify modifier off. I'm gonna add a displace modifier, and we're just gonna set it to barely negative. Barely negative, so now it is a bit smaller. It is shrunken down, made skinnier in some ways. And now that we've done that, we can hit object, convert to grease pencil. So now it took that mesh and made it a bunch of grease pencil strokes. And it gave it all these funky, weird materials. And we don't want any of them. So we're going to go over to the material editor, just delete all those, hit new, give it a fill, and then make it a holdout. So now we have this grease pencil object that is just a mesh that is a holdout. And there's actually an artifact here because this method is not absolutely the best. So from certain angles, this thing would like clip through and break your lines. Like if you looked from this side, the ear is gonna mess that up. So what do we do? What do we do about it? Honestly, we might just delete all of these. We don't need these vertices because that's the real issue. Like, you know, if you're looking from above, like, you know, that it'll be an issue, but for this, like, it doesn't really matter. So now that we've done that, we can select our main grease pencil object and then select the second one and hit join. Now they're the same grease pencil object. But one of these is now covering it up because of the layer order. But if we go to strokes and set it to 3D location, now our strokes are appearing above it. And if we set our camera back here, hit render image, you'll see we're not seeing that face anymore. It's no longer an issue like that. So we can bring our mesh back in, and I want to do a little turnaround of my guy. I'm going to go ahead and set up a little quick scene to render this. So I'm going to do this over, kind of center it, frame, change camera perspective, just till it roughly fits. And I think if I set this rotate by hashtag 15. Oh, I haven't parented things. You have to parent things if you're going to do this. Of course, you silly. Select it all, Control P, object. Now. Hashtag. Okay, the origin is messed up because I parented in the wrong one. Another way you can parent is just hold shift, grab your object, that collection view, and do that. That works great. Origin is still messed up because it's on the 3D cursor. Let's just set origin to geometry. Now it's in the middle. So when you rotate on Z, it's a little bit better. Another way, like when you have issues like this, sometimes the easiest thing to do is just add an empty Oh, the empty goes to the 3D cursor. Right. How do I reset it? Like, here it is. 0. 0. Oh, select all. 0. Boom. Now when we add an empty, plane, axis, parent this, do the empty. Then we set the empty hashtag divided by 15 on the Z axis. Now it's gonna spin around all fun like that. And he looks like some bean that you would buy out of like a Toys R Us. I don't know if you guys remember those like Mighty Beans or whatever. I can't remember what they were called. They were really funny, but I don't. It was really weird. Something to make this mesh maybe a little more interesting, and I'm not sure this could end up being an issue for our grease pencil line. But what I'd like to try is take this mesh, go ahead and add a displacement modifier. It's gonna be really subtle. I'll probably end up having texture. How about more? Not big. That. Good. Set it. Camera. Because then, yeah. So it's gonna move around a little bit, but makes them look a little bit more stylized. But we'll see if that doesn't become an issue. I'm going to go ahead and select this red, I think. Then let's add a sphere to our scene. Scale it up. That. Set it back there. We'll give it that emission material. Boom, we have a render of a face. It's spinning and it's 3D and it's got grease pencil lines on it. Real fun. There's a couple spots where you that the grease pencil lines are appearing over mesh, and that's kind of just an issue with this style of rendering thing. Doesn't always, line up exactly right. More often than not, it'll line up totally wrong. But I think it's still a pretty cool looking piece of crap. So I hope you enjoyed watching little yeah, and follow me on TikTok if you want more junk like this that I'm making. I'm posting pretty frequently there, and I might do more tutorials like this if this was helpful. I love getting to share lessons on how to make cool stuff because I like looking at cool stuff, and the more people that know how to make cool stuff, the more likely it is that I get to look at cool stuff. So, anyways, thanks to my Patreon supporters, Juliana and Zane and Ian. I get to make cool stuff, and you guys are supporting me in doing that, so that's really awesome. And yeah, go check out my Patreon if you want to see stuff that I'm making that isn't kind of in the limelight just yet. It's kind of behind the scenes stuff and just fun little projects and sneak peeks at things over there at the moment. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone for supporting me and all my art that I'm making. This was kind of just a spontaneous thing I wanted to do. I just kind of realized I should probably thank people at the end of it because this is kind of probably going to be one of the main like big things that I'm actually putting out. Yeah, it might be a little while. I got a lot of commissions that I'm working on right now. It might be a while until another big thing like this comes along. But thanks a lot, guys. Like and subscribe